there was there was a project with Princeton University. You've heard of it. It was actually a very cool project. They were taking three different units and creating a new business unit within the Office for Research. So it's called Office of Innovation. And it was bringing in their commercialization groups and other kinds of outreach and engagement groups, and three parts of the org that were not sort of connected, strongly connected before, or formally so, organizationally so. And so our work was to come in and work with them to create figure out what are their things that make them unique. Like, what do they do? How are these three things together different than the three things apart? So what do they do? How does that matter? What kind of impact are you trying to have? It's just so interesting. Princeton, in our conversations with them, in our listening sessions, they're talking about being in some ways risk averse as a university. They're kind of perfectionist, and Princeton doesn't make mistakes, which is obvious, right? Except when you're entrepreneurial or you need to be innovative in Office of Innovation, you have to be willing to fail fast, learn, move. And so, how do you imbue a culture with that? How do you, like, in the world of translation of research, so much of that is in the sciences and engineering. And at Princeton, which focuses really holistically on learning and really cares about humanities and social sciences, to their credit, their chief innovation officer wanted to try to bring in the whole university. And so we actually used the word translation as a real key driver for the message for the office, because translation works for scientists. Like, we want to translate bench to bedside, right? Or translate our lab work to something commercial, right? Uh, but it also means something to the humanists. It also means something. It brought in the whole campus. And so there was just a real concentration on vocabulary and really focusing in on words. And then what we ended up doing with them, and it's super cool. You can actually see it in their materials now. We actually created a specific visual language to go along with the vocabulary that we developed with them, that forces one to innovate while they are interacting with the office. And I won't go into it more, but it was a pretty wonderful, original visual language that we did to complement the story work that we did, the narrative work that we did. And I'll give a shout out to our strategic partner, Marco Kindler von Noblock at Multiple Studio, with whom we did that project. They're a Madrid-based studio. That was, I think, their first US-based project. And now we're to be doing a lot more with them.
Wonderful. I